Okay, folks. Well, I went ahead here off camera and spent a little time here wiping everything down and cleaning here. And yeah, this saw was just neglected. They just used it and then threw it back on the shelf in the shed type of thing in the garden shed and left it there. It's not horrible. It's not all caked up with real horrible dirt or anything like that. They just uh, just used and put away and. I don't think it's ever seen a shot of compressed air in its life. They just ran it, and like I say, this saw hasn't been used a horrible amount. It's not a high mileage saw. It kind of looks that way. It's got a lot of bumps and scrapes and stuff on it because just rough handling type of thing, but not. But overall, not horribly abused. Just it was just somebody just used it as a knock around tool type of thing, and that's it. So, anyways, nothing wrong with this thing. It's a good saw. I plan on running it and using it, and I will. But anyways, went and dug up a handlebar there out of my junk collection there. Now, like I say, this saw it's got some scrapes and dings here and there, and it looks a little bit rough, but paint is scraped up on it in a few spots or whatever. The side cover, I guess it spent all its time laying on its side or something, but it's not, nothing is worn horrible otherwise. There's not a whole lot of high usage or anything like that. It's just not. I can, come on, it's giving me a little bit of fits here. There we go. Oop, get this one in here, started here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and now what do we got going on here? Okay. We got some other funky issues here. This handlebar obviously got banged or twisted somewheres or whatever at one point. It shouldn't be fighting me quite this hard to get in here. Okay, somebody obviously this this handlebar come off another saw. It must have got squashed somewheres or whatever. So hang on, I got one other one I'm gonna go find and see how that one fits up on here. I'll bring you back again in a second. Okay, well, I actually thought there for a few minutes that I had a handlebar for a different saw here. I thought it was for a bigger saw. It was This thing was twisted and pulled so bad. Like I say, I guess it was from a saw that got squished or rolled under a tree somewhere. So it wasn't horrible, but everything was off kilter a little bit. The bottom was kind of twisted and bent a little bit at a funky angle, and so was this the back part here with the two tank mounts and the anti-vibe mount to the cylinder. It was all twisted out of shape, and it had me going here in circles there for about 5 minutes. They're trying to figure out, looking at, wondering what was wrong here. So luckily, I've got another handlebar from that other blown up 2156 there, but this one is nice and clean and straight, and I used this one as the template to put this one back in shape. Now you say, well, why didn't you just use this one and throw this one back in the junk box? Well, the thing is, I would prefer, while I have one that's an actual clean, straight handlebar that acts like a template, I can use this one to correct this one and put this one back in, and this is the one I started with, and I'll, the overall shape of the hoop wasn't damaged or bent. It was just where the mounts are. It was pulled out of whack over here, and on the base here it was kind of tipped up or whatever, and twisted ahead a bit. So I put it in the vise and pulled it a little bit this way to get it correct, and then tipped it a bit this way to get it the other way. And this one I had to put a little bit of a bow in it back, or a little bit of a, I had to put a little bit of a dish back in it over here where it mounts up to the AV spring at the top cylinder mount, and then put a little bit of a tiny little bit of a curvature over here where it fits back up to the tank. Now it slips on the saw and drops right in like it should. I couldn't figure out what was going on there. Yeah, there, just like that. See, no fighting, no fuss, no muster type of thing. So we'll get this back in here, back together. Actually, we'll put this AV mount over here and bolt in here. Why is this giving me grief here now? So yeah. Now if you'd go ahead and just chuck that handlebar back in the parts box and say, well, whatever, it's there if I absolutely need it. But the problem with that is, if you absolutely need it and you don't have another straight one after as your template, then you're really kind of in a bind or in a fix, because what's going to happen then if you don't have that squared away or straightened out, you come along at a later date and you forget that you have that there, then you don't have something to run off of as your guide. So you're while I had the other straight handlebar, because you never know. I put that straight handlebar on the saw now, and then if I accidentally drop a tree on the saw and ding it somewhere, well, then what am I going to do for then I don't have another template. I mean, yeah, you can fiddle around with it back and forth, but take it on, put it off, take it on, put it off, or try to half a dozen different times, it's gonna give you grief. So I just as soon do it now while I got the other straight handlebar there as a guide or a template, like I say, and correctly fix the one that I have. There's nothing wrong with it. Otherwise, there's no cracks in it, no breaks. It's a perfectly good handlebar. It's just it got dinged somewhere a little bit, and yeah, we'll get this bottom short one in here. Now I've got another replacement one here in my mess here. I got a bag of hardware here, so where's that bolt hole now? So yeah, and just like that, we're back in business. Now we'll have a nice OEM handlebar, not some miscombobbled Husqvarna handlebar on there from a different saw, and not even the right family of saw. It's from I got an extra screw, a short one in here. I don't know why I put it in here, but I guess for safekeeping so it wouldn't get lost. I got a bag of parts here to, that was my, what I knew I had to do on the saw. That's my bag of parts that I put together that when I'm thinking of things, or when I've got stuff that I got to work on, I think about it and I go, well, I should get this part or that part, and slowly start putting stuff together, and that's how I keep things straight, and then put parts aside or whatever, and then I've got parts what I need. So, okay. Now you don't want to overdo it on these, because you can, this is just coarse thread and plastic here, so okay. Okay. There we go. And there we have it. There, that's fixed. Now we move on to, they got some electrical tape wrapped around the handle here to hold that trigger spring in place here. Not the trigger spring, but the spring for the operator presence lever here. It's well, actually it is. This spring is a combination that keeps tension for your throttle and your safety lever there. Anyways, there we go. Now these are usually fairly simple to. They just slip in here. Your trigger is the one that has a pin over here has a pin over here just at the bottom of in the gully of the handle here, so to speak. There's a little roll pin there. You gotta tap that little steel pin out, and then you can drop your whole trigger assembly out. But if you're not changing the trigger and you're just changing the safety here, this has a kind of like two little round shoulders here on each side that pop into the top of the tank here, and these have a sort of like a double little catch over here. You got to kind of splay or spread the handle just a little bit to pop it in to get it to go past. But what you do is the spring just sits up inside of this inside of the presence lever there. Usually this doesn't give me much of an issue. I've changed a few of these in the past. I don't want to break anything here. You got to be careful when you put these together here. There we go, like so. It goes in like so, and then spread your handle like so there. A little bit on this side here. There we go, just like that. Trigger is locked out when your thumb isn't on it, or when your hand is on it. Squeeze it out. There we go, just like that. You've got that's working like it should. It's popped in there. Not going to pop back out unless you got to kind of, like I say, get a little screwdriver in here on work it on. Not too much. Careful not to break your gas tank or your operator presence lever. You can do damage to either one if you get carried away with too big of a screwdriver. Just a small little screwdriver, just ever so slightly. Just wiggle a little bit on one side and wiggle it a little bit on the other side, and like you see here, like what I did here, it literally just pops or snaps in. Careful, they've got some kind of a funny little a little beak on there. You got to be careful you don't break that when you push it in. If you put it in the wrong spot or get rough with it, you can. Just be careful when you put them in. But there we go. So now we got a handlebar. We got our trigger safety back in. That's good there. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut a new piece of rope here for the recoil. 36, 37 inch. That's what you're supposed to have in these, and that's what I'm gonna use or what I'm gonna do. So, anyways, I'll bring you back when I go measure off and cut this piece of rope. Okay. Anyways, so go ahead and cut the length of that rope there that I needed, and these handles are kind of these newer Jonsered handles they had here. They're a real nice handle. I like them. They got a good grip. They're smooth, and they feel nice in the hand compared to kind of the blocky square. The bottoms are cut nice and rounded. The top is kind of square, which is fine, but the bottom has a nice round edge to it, so it feels real good, and you can get a good pull on it. The Husqvarna ones are on these 300 series saws. They're kind of a square, blocky handle, and they kind of hurt your hand a bit or whatever. I mean, they're fine, but they're not as comfortable as these. These were really nice handles. These are the last ones that they had on the newer saws here, right up into the 2200 series. From the 2100, at the end of the 2100 series, I think they started with these, but all the 2200 series, the latest auto-tune saws and stuff, they all had this style of handle, and they're really comfortable. Now the knot that I use for these is like just make a regular, I don't know how to explain this, just a regular single overhand knot, and then I take the pigtail or the end and then tuck it back through the knot. Make kind of a funky little pigtail there. Then when you tighten down the knot there, you have a kind of a funny little end there. That's kind of how they do a lot of these knots at the factory. What it does is it gives you a little bit bigger of a ball there at the end. You just slide it back, tuck this back in, like so, and that's it, see? There we go. Now, I went ahead and already ran my rope through the recoil here off camera because, well, let's face it, there's 100 videos on YouTube or more, maybe 1,000 videos of everybody restringing ropes on these recoils. Like I say, these are no different than the Husqvarna version of the 300 series saws. The pulley has a little groove cut in the little notch cut in it over here, where you just make sure you feed your rope through your thimble up through the pulley, and they tie a little knot there, a single knot, to make sure it's good and tight, or burn the end of it a little bit to melt it. And then they've got like a little bit of a recess in the pulley there out of the way, so it doesn't get caught in your pawls. And you want to make sure that knot is pretty much flush, a flush cut knot. You take and bring it up around, and you wind your spring up. That's all you do. It's just get it in there and wind it clockwise. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time you get to about number 6, it's about right. And if it's not, you can always wind. You can add one more wind. Some of them take up to 7 winds to get them to fully whatchamacallit, and then you just let off of it. Just let it go and let it suck itself in. See, I didn't get enough on there, so I'm gonna have to go a couple more wraps. I think I only got 5 wraps. Not quite enough. You got to go about 7 on these buggers to get them wound up to where you need them. Ah, come on, give me a hard time here. Get an extra wrap. We'll give it one extra one here. See how it acts. Well, you know what? I gave it a wrap and a half, and there we go. That's plenty. Because you don't want to wind it so tight. You got to have a little bit of free slack in your recoil spring. Because if you put 1 or 2, if you say you go 2 extra winds, you'll get 3/4 of the way out, and then when you give it that last little bit, you'll break your recoil spring. It'll crush the spring, and you'll pop the end, and you'll break the end. So you got to make sure you can pull it all the way out, like this one, till you hit the end, and it's not binding, and you're good. And it still should be able to go in all the way. Have good. Should be able to have good resistance on the spring, yet be able to pull it all the way out with no binding. If you have binding, you've got it too tight, and you have to take and pull this back and let it out one half turn or 1 turn to get it adjusted just right. But this has got just the right perfect amount. Like I say, I gave it 5 wraps. It wasn't quite 5 winds. Wasn't quite enough. Six winds on this recoil. Some of the bigger saws you got to go, like I say, 7, and some of the small saws, whatever. It varies. It depends on the size of the spring, but all the ropes are always about the same, around that 36-inch mark. So for the most part, there's exceptions one way or the other a little bit in all saws, but for the most part, still Husqvarna, Jonsered, they're all in that from the 50, 60, 70 cc class saws. They all have like I say, a 36, 37-inch piece of rope in them. That's pretty much your right recoil length, and this is fine. There's no binding in here whatsoever. That's fine. So we're going to put this back together. I went ahead here when I had the cover off, wiped this down here, my air shroud here. There's no a good thing to do when you open them up like this is to make sure you check your routing of your kill switch wires, your coil wire. Make sure nothing is rubbing in behind on the recoil, or you definitely don't want to get anywhere near the cooling fan, because if it even just catches it once, that's it for that. You're done. So you'll chew everything up. So give a little tug to engage your pawl, and there you go, just like that. See? Yeah. And we'll go ahead and reassemble. I'm going to get this saw barred up and get a chain on it. This one is set up for 325. These saws, all these saws, as far as I know, came from Husqvarna or from the factory with 325, but they had the option you could swap them over to full 3/8, standard 3/8. You could just swap the sprocket and then your bar, of course. But most of these came off the factory assembly line with 325, and this one still has his 325 sprocket. It's pretty worn. I do have a spare one. I'll be putting that together. I'm not going to do that on camera. I mean, spin the clutch off, spin a put a new grease your needle bearing, and put a new sprocket on. That's pretty standard fare. Like I say, everybody on YouTube's got videos about that too, so I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. But there we go. My little 2156 all back together, and I got myself one heck of a good looking little saw here. At least I think so. Anyways, I always liked these saws, and I finally now got my hands on one, and I'm going to be running it. Definitely going to be one of my. I've gotten to run these a little bit. Other people's try them out, and I absolutely love these saws. So sad that it took me over 10 years, or almost, well, actually 12 years to track one down. I would have had a brand new one of my own a long time ago, but like I say, I just missed the last order shipment of them, and couldn't get another one until well, like I say, took the better part of over a decade to find one. So, but anyways, everybody, I've rambled on again way too long in this video here. Got handlebar changed, my recoil fixed with the right correct pull handle on it. Got my safety presence lever on it. Like I say, I'm going to be going ahead, and I'm going to spin the clutch off and put a new drive sprocket on there and grease up my bearing, and I'll put together a bar and chain for it, and I'm going to get it out and do some cutting with it. I'm looking forward to running this little saw. They're a pretty sharp, snappy runner. Actually, let's see if I got some. It's been several months since I've had this thing. Well, there's not much for fuel in it, but I might be able to start. I had it running on a little bit of fuel in here. Let's see if you folks get you folks here some little bit of run footage here. See if this little bugger is gonna fire off here. Full choke. Now, like I say, the saw hasn't run in 6 months, so I ran it in June was the last time when I got the saw. It hasn't run since, and it's now well, we're well into winter. So anyways, oh yeah, this thing has got good compression. Well, maybe not. We don't oh, there we go, look at that. Oh well. Fact is, it's whatchamacallit. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna shut it off before I smoke myself out here. But anyways, point being, back up and going here, and we're gonna get it out in some wood and get it cutting. So, anyways, everybody, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video once again, and appreciate all your support. Don't forget to leave the old thumbs up, the like, share, subscribe. We'll see you all on the next one. Until then, take care.